Hello and welcome to Never a Foul. Man United in top four race. Arsenal and Man City keep the chase up. Listen, it was an absolutely fantastic week. I missed the Premier League so much during this international break, and I was so glad that we got to enjoy Premier League for 2 days. And still today, later, Everton, Tottenham, Newcastle are third, and Tottenham are chasing both of them, Newcastle and Man United. How's everybody doing in the chat? Make sure to hit that like button for me, please, if you just joined. I'm here with Ty and Daps, and we're here to just talk about the games this weekend because games come fast. Today, tomorrow, every day. Ty, how are you feeling?
Yeah, man. Do you know what? I just done a show on Trafford Tunnel. I feel like I had a therapy session for an hour. I said, everyone come straight over to here. Now we're talking about all things football and I can relax a bit. Big up Daps, big up Mo, big up everyone that's come over.
I'm not letting you off the hook.
No, we're going to talk about it. And I'm happy.
Okay,
You know, it's good actually to talk about Man United.
Oh, yeah, we are going to talk on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and you know what?
I'm coming here to relax. No, you're not. No, you're not.
About it. No,
Hey,
you know what?
You're wrong, Ty. You're actually wrong because where you were before is your comfort zone, right? When you're in these, when you're on when I'm on City Extra, right, or when
it's nice, isn't it?
You're on Trafford Tunnel. You're surrounded by your people, yeah. Like it's an echo chamber, right?
Now, but do you know what? I actually like talking about it with you guys because you look at it from a non-United side of it, things. So it's actually good. So I'm actually looking forward to it, man. But guys, make sure you like the video. 50 of you already here. Big up the family inside of it as always, man. But yeah, man, we're here, Mo. We're here.
Yeah. Listen, results on the screen. I know that we have to start with Liverpool, Man City. It's the biggest game of the weekend. But was it, though? I don't think it was. I think it was Newcastle, Man United. But we're going to start with Man City, Liverpool, just because of the rivalry over the past, 3-4 years. But Jurgen Klopp has lost his mind. This is my opinion. And I was doing just an Arabic show before this. And I told the guy that Jurgen Klopp is crazy. And he's gone crazy. He threw the game at 2-1. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going to state some stuff that I think about it. He threw the game away at 2-1. He gave up. And it looked like from the attitude that he gave up. He got into the second half thinking that I can attack City at the Etihad without any consequences. And he got punished within 60 seconds. So I don't think at this point Jurgen Klopp knows what he's doing. He is a man drowning and trying to do anything. He's a man drowning and trying to hold into anything. I think that it doesn't matter who plays for Liverpool. I think they don't play for the manager, as we talked about it yesterday, me and Daps. Someone said it. And also, someone said it on a call. You remember? Someone said they don't think that the players are playing for the manager. And I think he is out of ideas. He's trying to press City at the Etihad, being 1-1 going into the final 45 minutes of the game. What are you doing? Someone tell me. What was he thinking?
I mean, look, from the start, before the game, I said that the Liverpool fans are vulnerable at the moment, right? And I think that if they would have seen Haaland on the team sheet, then they would have been like, shit. Whereas to not see Haaland on the team sheet, they might have been, okay, you know what, we've got a chance. But
Roms was one of them. He's in the chat.
Huh?
Roms was one of them and he was in the chat. He's in the chat.
Yeah, right. And so at the start of the game, their fans firstly, and listen, I'm not saying Liverpool fans are always bad, but they were quiet at the start. Like they didn't come out singing or nothing, right? And that's without Haaland, without Foden. I thought, yeah, these are vulnerable. And Alisson's distribution from the start, poor, rushing. Also, when he wasn't doing that and he was playing it out from the back, it was like, you're not that confident team. And it just, everything they did from the start, I was like, there's no usual Liverpool confidence in what they are doing, yeah? But then they did score. Right, and we had the opening chances, But then they scored, and they scored the exact way we expected Liverpool to score. On the counter, great finish by Mo Salah. The fans got loud for 2 minutes. And then the minute the City fans thought we need to get behind the team, there's still plenty of time left, they went quiet again. And that was reflected on the pitch as well. I just think at the moment, Klopp, you're spot on, Klopp. Everyone can see it. Liverpool fans saw it first. Now we're all seeing it. That without the midfield, it don't work, right? At all. Like, it's exposing Trent. It's exposing Van Dijk. It's now got to a point where it's exposing Robertson as well, to be fair, because I rate Robertson very highly. And he's not willing to switch to 3 at the back. Yeah, it's just. But at the same time, going into that game, the one thing that, look, I didn't get carried away going into the game like I did the away game, saying, you know what, we're going to go out and smash them. But in my head, I did think, for us, first, the reason why we should win it is, firstly, we're better than Liverpool this season. Secondly, it's at the Etihad. And finally, we have to be better than Liverpool. We have to win it, right? And I think that's what it came down to. We wanted it so much more. You could see all over the park. We'll probably talk on Jack Grealish, but it was all over the park. Every City player just wanted it so much more.
Do you know what as well, Daps? I think...
And actually, sorry, and final point, just to go back to how it started, and not just on the pitch, not only the fans, but most importantly, who wanted it more? Jurgen
manager
or Pep? And you could see who wanted it more.
I could see it with Pep, the way he was animated on the touchdowns, the way he obviously celebrated the first goal. And do you know what it is, yeah? It's so funny because I done a show with Roms. I think it might have been before the game. It must have been before the game. And we're saying that if you lot score first, Liverpool can't find a way back into the game. And he agreed. And if Liverpool scored first, could I find City? No, it was me and Mo, sorry. Could we find City coming back into the game? And we both said, yeah, we could actually imagine City coming back into the game. And that's exactly what he did. But I think, right, the way you managed the game in terms of Liverpool going ahead, Mo, with the situation Man City were in, we could see group chats, you could see Twitter. It was like, oh, is this going to be the day that Arsenal win the league? People started getting ahead of themselves. And it's like, hold on here. We're talking about a Man City team that have kept 5 clean sheets in 6 games. They're a team that, you know, were playing well in the first half. Okay, they were getting beat on the transition a couple of times, but that's what happens when you play Man City anyway. But they're going to dominate the ball more. The fact of the matter is... Oh, sorry, 1 second. Is it gone now?
Yes.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, the way City got themselves back into the game and played so maturely, I was actually really happy with, if I'm honest, if I was a City fan, because they didn't go into panic stations. It was kind of like, right, we know what's got us all these titles in the past. We know what our coach has taught us. We've played Liverpool, by the way, in the last 4 or 5 years, and it's been the biggest game of the season. However, this is not the Liverpool we've played of old. This is a Liverpool that we know we can definitely beat going into this game. And they played it like that. They didn't lose their composure. They stayed focused. And once they actually got the equalizer, I was looking at that game and I was like, right, in the second half, there's only one way Liverpool can maybe get something out of this. They get the game to 70 minutes at 1-0, and Darwin Núñez comes on and they try and do a bit of, you know, counter-attacking football. City did exactly what Liverpool done to Manchester United at Anfield, and the game was done. From 45 minutes to 55 minutes, Pep got up their fucking arse. Sorry about my language, sorry. Pep got up their arse and said, right, go out there and show us why you can challenge Arsenal, and we are the best, one of the best teams in the country. And they done that, Mo. In the first 10 minutes of the second half, they come out, got their goals, controlled the game, and the game was over. And do you know what?
I don't disagree. I disagree with what you said. Go ahead, finish.
But I'm going to say this. And one thing I'm going to say that Liverpool done, which I haven't seen them do for years, and I said it to you, Mo, they gave up. They quit. And this is a Liverpool team. You talk about energy. You talk about Jurgen Klopp, always finding ways to win. I'm sorry, when you're bringing on Oxlade-Chamberlain and making 4 subs with Simicastle at the 60th, 70th minute, you're basically saying, do you know what? I'm just looking at the Chelsea game on Tuesday. Liverpool gave up and Man City dominated.
Did Núñez even get on the pitch?
Yes, he come on with the 4 subs.
So I don't disagree with you, Ty. However, I don't think it was like this. I think Liverpool handed Man City the game on a silver platter. 1-0.
Sorry, can I just say?
No. Let me finish. No. Let me finish my point.
No, I'm not going to let you finish.
No. Why are you not going to let me finish?
Because Man City were good in the second half.
The reason why I'm not going to let you finish.
Let me finish.
Mo, I'm not going to let you finish. The reason why I'm not going to let you finish is because how you started it. This is
No,
like...
so you didn't get to tell me what to
When I
say.
came on after we beat Leipzig...
But let me tell you what I'm thinking. I think Jurgen Klopp had a chance.
One of the first things Cass said was about the referee. I'm not having this handed to City, right? Nothing was handed to us. Don't use the term handed. Nothing.
I agree with Daps, Mo.
Okay, you guys, whatever. Okay, the game, second half, it was handed to City on a silver platter. Yes, fine. You can say whatever.
I got
Man
I want
City,
you to land.
Man
Mo,
City.
I'm intrigued
Listen,
how you're going to say
you're a good team if you take your chances. Man City did second half.
We saw the opening.
They saw exactly what Liverpool gave them, and Kevin De Bruyne with smart running behind the midfield in the first minute of the second half. One of you tell me that Pep expected the second half for Liverpool to start pressing Man City from the first minute all the way up. Their defensive line was at the halfway line. You guys know football, both of you. Did you see Liverpool at Anfield when they're 1-0 up? They defended with their lives, even before 1-0 up. Mm-hmm. You tell me that Pep Guardiola told his players, listen, you're going to go second half. Liverpool are going to press you all that high from the first minute. Do you guys expect that? I expected Liverpool to defend as deep as they can and still hot on the counter. And that's what I'm saying. It was handed to them. So respond to this, Daps, because you cut me off. Respond to this. Did you in the stadium? Let me ask you a question straight. In the stadium, did you expect Liverpool being second fiddle in that first half? They weren't the better team at all the first half. They had one shot and they scored and another counter. They would defend this.
Okay. Hold on,
did you expect them to press?
Now. Stop waffling. You're still going. Right. Everything you said there, I agree with. But it's the way what you started was handed to City on a plate, right? Again, it's downplaying City.
No, I didn't mean that.
Do it, Mo.
Do it. Okay, you accuse me of something, so let me respond. When I say that, when someone gave you something, you use it the right way. City could have not used it the right way. Pep, it's 1-1. City could not have used it the way. Could have panicked and even against Tottenham. When Tottenham pressed you, you made a mistake. You remember that. But City used that mistake because games can be done with mistakes or games can be done with like individual brilliance. And I thought that the way you used them pressing that Liverpool did is brilliant. The way you played behind their midfield line was brilliant.
He wasn't right.
Klopp, that's not a mistake. When you're tactically wrong, it's a mistake. You play in City at Etihad. Tell me one team that would go to City at Etihad and try to.
What you're saying is Klopp overthought it.
No, it's not overthinking. He's absolutely lost his mind, bro. You don't go to Etihad again with all this crowd buzzing and you go press them the second minute of the second half when you are the second best team on the pitch for 45 minutes and you play on the counter. You know what I'm telling you, that if something is working for you for a half, why would you go change it in the second half? Why?
But probably because he didn't think that he could do it again for another half.
Defend?
Yeah, possibly, bro. Because he knows that City will crank it up.
He's an idiot. Jurgen Klopp is an idiot. To do this is absolutely stupid. Why would you play your defense halfway line?
I agree with you, but this is how football works. If Liverpool had done that, and like you said earlier, City have learned from the mistake against Tottenham where they tried playing out and Spurs pressed them with, Richarlison, who went with Son and Kulusevski. If City had conceded from that, we would say, okay, Liverpool got it right in terms of changing the tactics and trying to press them and doing it a different way. The fact that City outpressed the press and got out and capitalized and scored 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. In my head, I'm looking at it a different way to you and saying, do you know what? City done it right in terms of they capitalized in the way Liverpool tried playing their way out, and City were good in what they did. They scored 2 goals, not 2 shit goals, by the way. I'm talking 2 very good goals. Alvarez drops in the pockets. Van Dijk doesn't know whether to come or go. He switches it out right to Mahrez. And then there you go. De Bruyne is running through the gaping hole. And that is fair play to Man City. So as much as I understand what you're saying in terms of why did Liverpool change their tactics because they was in the game at 1-1, City were also very good in saying, do you know what? They didn't know that Liverpool were going to do that. So the way that City were able to flick the switch and say, we can see what you're trying to do now. We're going to implement our game and beat you when you're trying to press us. They've done that very well in that 10 minutes. So because when you look at it, obviously City scored 2. You're saying, okay, Liverpool handed it to him. But if Liverpool then had scored from that in the first 10 minutes, we'll be saying, oh, it was great from Klopp making a tactical change. The fact of the matter is, you know, City were the better team in the first half, even when Liverpool were defending more, like you said, and City were better in the second half when Liverpool decided to press. So City were the better side no matter what.
Here is
It's
oh
like
no, no,
yesterday.
I 100%. Here is the difference. Liverpool in the first half on the counter, I thought Gakpo on the transition was brilliant in that midfield.
Yeah.
Bypassing Rodri 3-4 times.
Mhm.
And even on the counter, Jack Grealish had to sprint. Shout out to him, to be honest, for making that 80-yard sprint to cover that pass from Mo Salah, and the awareness of Jota being on the other side as well. However, it was working for Liverpool because they scored. Getting out of the back, they were a little bit shaky, but they got it 2-3 times right. And every time they got it right, they had 3-on-3. But then he
Now,
goes and changed
can
that.
I just be Mo? Let's. It's a lot simpler than what you're doing right here. Yeah, is the truth of the matter is, bro, we scored our second 1 minute into the second half, maybe 2 minutes, right? Most
1 minute, 46 minutes.
Bro, look, yeah. For some reason, I don't know why, but like in the South Stand where I sit, the stewards were doing something they never usually do, where they made like rows of them for the second half. Were checking as you went back in, checking your tickets, which they do at the start. They never usually do. So no one, like a lot of us weren't back in our seats. We were still walking back to our seats, and then eventually, because the goal got scored, the stewards had to go, "Oh, fuck this, we can't do this now," because everyone just pushed through. But that's when a team scores a goal in the 46th minute. From that point, yeah, you know every Liverpool head is going to drop, right? So all of that, what went wrong in the second half is, you can throw all of that away. What went wrong in the second half for Liverpool is City scored in the 46th minute, right? From that point, they're on the back foot. All the fans are up for it. The players are up for it now and think we need to go for the jugular. So I don't even think it is. I think the easy narrative is then to go, oh, you know what? Yeah, Liverpool gave in. No, they didn't.
No, not true. I thought that after the second goal, you made them give up. You made them give up. The control of the
So
game,
they didn't
the
hand it to
passing
us. We
around.
made them give it to us.
No, like I was talking about that first minute of the second half. You know, when someone like just, let me tell you something. It didn't happen like this. But if someone just handles the ball in the 18, I'm like, what are you doing? I thought that Jurgen Klopp is so naive. You want to tell me that someone is going to come to that? It's so naive, and that the game was done. That's
But
after
I
he
do also
scored.
think that's that Pep had said at half time, probably based on the first half, had probably said second half, go out and go at them, right? Because you look at that second goal, the pace of the passing, the way it was like, right, let's just go at them. And I think in this game in particular, there's a lot of players that impressed me. Obviously, Grealish, 100% impressed me. I think it was Trevelli. Is it Trevelli? I sometimes pronounce it wrong in the chat. I think they were talking about Grealish earlier. And he was saying he didn't think Grealish cooked Liverpool. And he thought that the tackle was the best thing he did. Now, I agree with him. The goal and assist people would talk on. For me, that tackle, that was sensational, because if they would have scored then, they would have gone 2 up and it could have been a completely different game. So that was unbelievable. But he was skinning Trent all game. John Stones, I think, was unreal. I always speak on Ake. I don't think Ake had an amazing game. I think Ake was okay. But another player that really impressed me was Mahrez, right? We know that Mahrez can be very direct and always looking to cut in with the shot. What impressed me with Mahrez in that game is we saw a Mahrez that is now, because if I'm looking at City players, the one player that maybe I feel has sometimes struggled to find Haaland a little bit is Mahrez, because Mahrez so naturally is to cut in and shoot. Whereas I was seeing Mahrez passing the ball about and Mahrez getting more involved in the build-up play. And that can only be a good thing. That's where I think at the moment we are as a team, that now we all of a sudden seem to have clicked in how to play now.
For me, the man of the match for me, and people will say that I don't like Mahrez, I don't like Grealish, I admire them, is Julian Alvarez. At this age, not starting for most of the games. And by the way, he didn't get the GA because he played the pass before the pass. He is the one who played the pass before the pass to Mahrez.
Yeah.
And I think him influencing the game was absolutely fantastic for that way he plays football. He got involved most of the time. He actually made Van Dijk and Konate, both of them, always look like over their shoulders. Where is he? Is he here? Is he dropping deep? Is he running behind us? He was absolutely brilliant, Julian Alvarez. And I know we didn't talk about that, but I thought this is the best City I have seen in terms of offensively and everybody getting involved. Gundogan was on it, Jack Grealish was on it, Riyad Mahrez was direct, Kevin De Bruyne back to his best, Julian. So the five up top were absolutely brilliant. I thought John Stones, it was so smooth the way he slotted into the midfield, and then goes back to a right back, simple when they try to attack with Robertson.
It's the way Pep's got us playing now, right? And it's obviously I've been speaking on it all season. How like ultimately the reason why City have changed the way we're playing is because we have Haaland now. So we have to find another way to kind of have that extra body in midfield, right? And how it used to be maybe last season more Cancelo inverted a bit, right? But the way he's treated Ake is, I don't want Ake to invert, right? I want Ake to either be a left back or he kind of plays a very similar role to how Zinchenko used to play. He works the whole left side. Whereas John Stones, and this is a difference, that Pep never wants both fullbacks to do the same thing. One does one job, one does the other. And he's now gone with the right. And this is where we thought maybe we need Walker. This one game, we said maybe because Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool can dominate us in midfield. So we don't need that extra body in midfield. So maybe we play Walker as a right back so that he can get back on any of the counters. Instead, Pep went with the same thing, which is he was doing it well with Rico Lewis, where Rico Lewis was coming in and sitting right next to Rodri, almost like a second DM. The difference is now he's got John Stones that is just better at it. Like it's so natural. It's funny because we've over the years, I think people have spoke about maybe John Stones playing the DM role.
Yeah, could play DM.
Yeah. But and then at first, when I've seen John Stones, because Pep did earlier in the season, maybe try and play John Stones a bit as a fullback, as an actual right back, working the line, and I was like, it doesn't offer much going forward. But when he's coming in and sitting next to Rodri, it's perfect.
Do you know what as well? The maddest thing as well is that even some points in the second half, I saw Stones in like sort of a cam position. So it's showing that he had the license to get forward and he was so comfortable on the ball. It didn't even look like he was really out of place. And what I'm finding as well, there's a couple of things I noticed with Pep, which I think he got spot on. So I thought like Daps, he'd maybe play Kyle Walker for the pace element of Liverpool trying to hit them on the transition. However, I was talking to Sam about it today. And there's a reason why, despite me not being the biggest fan of him, I get why Pep plays him. And it's also Manuel Akanji, because Akanji's not the greatest defender, by the way. He does make his little moments and stuff like that. However, one thing he gives Manchester City is that recovery pace. But what he does is because he's got that recovery pace, he then allows Pep to then play maybe that extra midfielder or get that body in there, which was John Stones this weekend. When Akanji and Walker play, you got to think about it. Akanji's not as good as Stones or Roger or anyone like that on the ball, so he can't come inside. And Kyle Walker is mainly used as actual right back rather than sort of coming inside because he's not as technically sound as, a Rico Lewis or John Stones or Cancelo, for example, when he was here. So the fact that he's always playing Manuel Akanji is giving Pep that solution. He's like, okay, I've got Akanji's recovery pace. I can then put someone else into midfield. And I thought it worked perfectly. And I think John Stones is obviously one of the City's best players when he's fit. I think Ake's been 7, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10s in nearly every game this season. And I just think the way City controlled the game, for me, it's the perfect time to win that type of game because you're coming into a Premier League campaign now. It's the final 10 games of the season. It's going to be tricky. You've got the Champions League now, which we know that any competition that any team's in, by the way, they want to win it. Man City want to win the both. That's put it out there. Man City want to win both. Stop prioritizing people. Man City want to win both.
We never, bro.
Yeah, I know, but you know what people are like that. You know when people are like, oh, they're prioritizing the Champions League. It's like, no.
I'll be real with you. There's only one time, that I've seen City prioritize something, right? And we may well see it this season, is when we came back from Atletico Madrid last season and we had to play we would have flown back on the Thursday. We played Liverpool on the Saturday in the FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
And we had Zach Steffen in goal. We rotated, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be real, it's the same this season. We get back from Bayern Munich and 2 days later, we're in the FA Cup semi-final again. So I'm not going to lie. we will prioritise the Premier League and the Champions League. But if anyone thinks it's going to be Premier League or Champions League, there's
No,
not.
no, you want to win both. And do you know what as
Yeah.
well? I think my main point from this is that the fact that you was able to beat Liverpool so convincingly and Haaland wasn't there, which people talk about, it gives Pep the confidence that he can go and win any game and Haaland doesn't have to be there. He knows that Alvarez can step up. He knows that Mahrez Grealish can step up. He's now Stones in DM, by the way, against one of the best teams in the league. And they've beaten them. So for me, for you, Daps, mentally, this is huge.
If you look at a couple of... Right, so firstly, go back to 2018, 2019. I spoke on this, right? I think before the game, and I've definitely spoken it afterwards. In 2018, 2019, we played Liverpool in January. Yeah, we were third, Tottenham were second, Liverpool were first, but we had a game in hand, right? And it was I think it was a Thursday night, and De Bruyne was rumoured to be coming back, right, from injury, and everyone was saying, I remember Mario in particular was going to me because he came round to watch it and was saying, De Bruyne's starting. And I said, I don't think he will, you know, because if Pep starts him, it's a message to the rest of the team that we need De Bruyne. I'm rushing him back. Because he'd been in training for 2 days from quite a long injury. And secondly, it's a message to every other team that if you don't see De Bruyne, you're facing a vulnerable City. De Bruyne didn't start. I don't even know if he even came on. If he did, it was very late in the game, but we won it 2-1. That season we went on and won the league. Again, remember the season when you were in the title race and De Bruyne got injured and Gundogan stepped up, right?
Yeah, he
and
did.
That is very key. And you know what? Even with Arsenal this season, they've had it with Nketiah, right? When Nketiah came in and stepped up, that's a message to the team. It's a message to rivals that don't think that if we've got injuries that... And it could have gone either way, but to Alvarez, it's a massive message. To the rest of the league, it's a message that we didn't have Haaland, we didn't have Foden.
And you still probably, and no offense, but you actually look very good. It's like, now, I'm not saying you're not good with Haaland, but like Mo said, in the recent months, you probably say as a team, that was your best performance as a team, looking wise.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something about it? Can I tell you something about it? About this? It's for me, it's simple. When you have Haaland, you have one of the best goal scorers. So people that play with him week in, week out, they actually now probably they know. Like the Leipzig game, it looked like they know. Like he's right there at the right place at the right time. Without Haaland, most of the people that started yesterday are actually the old guard, other than Alvarez. And Alvarez, everybody played last season. You didn't have any new player this season on the pitch, only Alvarez. And I think,
Akanji.
Yeah, Akanji as well. Is the defense? Yes, Akanji. It looked like Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne knew how to play with Alvarez. They didn't need to think. They knew exactly what Alvarez is most of the time.
Alvarez, bro, I think we've said this before. Alvarez, 100% looks more like
Man City player. Yes.
Yeah, but also, I will be honest with you. There was an opportunity before we scored that we looked at each other and said, Haaland would have got to that, right? And you look at Alvarez's first goal. That was definitely a Haaland-esque goal, right? You look at, I think, our second goal, very similar. And this is the beautiful thing, but then the second two were different. And it just looks to me like City can now fluidly move between the styles of play now. We've worked it out.
Which is going to make a massive difference when it comes to the games, the Cup, the Champions League, and the League. Because I believe he will have to rotate some of the players. He will have to. There is no way these players can play 3 games or 4 games in like 1 week. Physically, Man City, numbers-wise, they run a lot. So and you have to and some of the players are like Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan and these guys, they're aging. Mahrez as well. You will need to rotate at some point. And it's good that to see City. It's absolutely. I'm glad that I see this City now again with Alvarez, because this is the City that we enjoyed. This is the City that can, without you thinking, oh my God, they're behind you. They're behind you. You know what I mean? They're behind you. Huh?
I'm not going to lie. I hear you, but if you're not enjoying seeing Haaland score 5 goals in a game...
No. But for me, no. I'm enjoying this. But this, for me, I saw them more fluid, to be honest. I don't know what you think. I know. And you think it's an agenda? It's
Hold on. Let's great to win both ways.
No. But yeah, but
100%.
But Mo, you've just said more fluid, right? And this is the thing that happens with City. I was on a show, Hold Tight Premsy. I was on a show with him the other day, and he was saying City haven't looked the same this season. I said they haven't, but you're comparing the City up until now with the City at the back end of last season. City put their biggest winning runs together in the final stretch of the season. Yeah. Now, if City go and win all of our games, we're going to be on one of the biggest unbeaten runs we've been on again, right? And then everyone will go, "Oh yeah, this season." It will then be the narrative that this season City have gone on unbeaten runs. When actually, up until, and this is the thing, if you want to talk about what you saw on Saturday was more fluid than what you saw 2 months ago against Tottenham, 100% agree. But let's not act like when Alvarez and Haaland were playing against Burnley or against Leipzig, that wasn't fluid as well. Because that was
fantastic opinion. Absolutely spot on. So that the one thing that is common between what you said is having the forward that drops deep and gets involved.
Both of them, bro.
Which is Alvarez.
And I think that's a long term. Look, you have to look at this, yeah, and think during the international break, or maybe it was just before, a player that everyone says has been on the bench all season, a player that has won a World Cup, a player that could go wherever he wants, signed until 2028, right? Now, he did not sign that contract thinking he's going to continue to be in the shadows of Haaland, right? He signed that contract because City are going back to playing two up top, right? You look at them together this season when they've played together, there's only one game that haven't both scored in when they've played together, right? It works with them two together. It's just we've been working towards it. Because if you think about it, at the start of the season, if you go Haaland, Alvarez, every game together, when neither of them have played with us before, that's not what you do. You bring them in. And this is it. Everyone knows when it's, oh, are we playing Haaland or Alvarez? No. The aim is to play both of them. Remember Negredo?
Negredo, yeah.
Oh, Tevez, Aguero.
Yeah, Deco.
Yeah. We have four strikers, and it was always two. And this is a dip. Pep is changing it again. So, yeah, you're spot on, Mark. That's it. Alvarez has to be there.
He has to be there. I love the kid. You know me from the World Cup. I told you, I love the kid. Because I think he's a brilliant footballer, to be honest. Let's move to Arsenal a little bit. People want to put the narrative that it was tough, like they were nervous a little bit. At no point in this game, I thought Arsenal will drop points.
People need to stop this narrative about Arsenal as well, by the way. Like,
they were nervous. Daps after the game.
No. Daps. Mo doesn't mean others. He means Arsenal fans a bit.
No. They were nervous. I'm not singling out Arsenal fans, non-Arsenal fans, anyone, right? That Arsenal fans, we are not doubting you, yeah, that thinking you are going to drop points to certain teams.
Leeds at home. Come on, just give me a break, bro.
You've earned our respect, man. You've earned your own fan base's respect, and you've earned our respect, yeah? That unless you're facing like a City, a Man United, a Liverpool,
or even like a West Ham where you might be nervous.
I'm already hearing this. Oh, Chelsea. No, Chelsea are not going to the Emirates and getting anything. I don't want to hear that, right? Like, Arsenal, I'm looking at Liverpool away. I'm looking at Newcastle away. And that's probably it. Right?
Yeah.
Once I win those two games, I'm going to be like, bro, you know what? But I don't see them winning those two games. But anyone that thinks Arsenal are going to slip up against other oppositions, no, they're a very confident team. There are
no signs of it, Daps. There are no. If they do, but there are no signs of it.
No, none. And that's what confuses me when people are like, "Oh, I don't." Where
forget that. Everyone's had that doubt about Arsenal in October, November, December, wherever it was, saying, "Oh, this week they might do it. This week they might." No, they're winning their games, and do you know what it is as well? Big up, Olu. They are winning their games easily that they should be winning. The only game that I think they struggled in or had to come back from behind was the Bournemouth game. 2-0 down, they come back and still won that 3-2, right? Other than that, I get to the 70th minute of Arsenal games and they're 2 goals ahead. The game is done. They're in cruise control. And this is the thing about Arsenal, which is worrying me more than anything, is how professional they're going about their business, beating these Leeds 4-1s, beating, these Fulhams away 2-3-0 like by half time. It's how professional they are. And I'm thinking, like, where can they be stopped? Because the Liverpool game next Sunday is obviously huge. They've got Newcastle May the 7th. Hopefully Newcastle are still in the top 4 race then so they don't blow up. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at this Arsenal team and I'm thinking, right, City have to beat them and they need Liverpool or they need Newcastle to get a result because I'm with Daps. They've got West Ham, by the way, away, Mo. You just mentioned, what
So
if they play West Ham
realistically,
away?
Ty, realistically,
but
Liverpool, West Ham, tell me.
No. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you this, Mo. Trust me. They are beating West Ham convincingly. West Ham are going to Ghent on Thursday. I was looking at the fixtures. They go to Ghent for the Europa League game, 8 o'clock on a Thursday. They're focusing on that as well. They're going to come
West
back.
Ham, I'm not even
Arsenal rested. They're going to beat West Ham 2-3.
Yeah, that West Ham narrative. That's one of the.
They're not the same West Ham. The atmosphere yesterday was crap. I watched the game, by the way. They played Southampton in a 6-point relegation battle. The atmosphere was horrendous. They are going to get steamrolled by Arsenal.
I think it was voted the worst game of the season.
Hold on, when have they got West Ham?
This Sunday.
After Liverpool.
They've got no.
West Ham is after Liverpool.
Yeah, that's it.
It's quite an interesting one, West Ham, because West Ham was our second to last game last season, right? And we went 2-0 down against them. Remember?
Yeah.
And we ended up 2-2. Grealish had a really good game. I think he got a penalty, but that's what I mean. That's it. The side that West Ham were 2-0 up against in City last season, right? But then in the second half, City got it back to 2-0. Why? Because we were in a title race. That's the type of team Arsenal are this season. That it doesn't. West Ham are not beating Arsenal.
They're not beating them. Yeah,
this Arsenal team is an Arsenal team that are this. I've always said game week 37. Fuck me, it might go to game week 38, right? This Arsenal team are going all the way. Yeah, they are not going to drop off this weekend, right? Look, the Liverpool thing will start to put some real pressure on them, right? Because they're not getting 3 points against Liverpool, but they're not going to drop off. The next one I will look at is who do they play next? Is it us or Newcastle?
So they have 5 games, only Southampton at home, West Ham away, Liverpool away, City away, Chelsea at home. These are the next 5 games.
So Newcastle's deeper.
No.
Yeah, May the 7th. May the 7th.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so so by the time they could they could really have to go to Newcastle and win.
Do you know what's
so
mad?
Let me ask you something. What
what
if they win against
What if they win what?
Against Liverpool. What if they win?
Then well, still the same thing, because I'm looking at 2 games. I'm looking at Liverpool and Newcastle, right? If they lose both of them, they're fucked because they're losing at the Etihad, right? So I'm looking at one of those 2 games. If it's Liverpool, then their asses will go. I'm sorry, if they lose to Liverpool, knowing they've got to go to the Etihad.
I'd love to see it just to see what happens in April, man.
I think that the league is over. I think the league is over if they lose to Liverpool. I think it's done. I think Man City win it at that point. But I think if they win it...
Do you want me to make it interesting for you? I was chatting to Sam today, right? And we'll go through the fixtures. And the way it falls, right? The week Man City play in the semi-final of the FA Cup, that's the weekend Arsenal have Southampton at home. On paper, that's a win. So Sam was going through the fixtures. And if you do it mathematically, which might happen where they lose one of them, that's like you're saying Newcastle or Liverpool, City won't actually be top until the last week of the season.
Yeah.
It's that crazy. Like everything that can happen, if it does work out, as in City beat Arsenal, and Arsenal lose one of them games. City, because of the game in hand that Arsenal play on that FA Cup weekend, it's only possible that City probably go top the last week of the season.
Remember the season under Pellegrini when we won the league?
Yeah.
I don't think we were top until like pretty much the last week of the season.
Yeah, the last week.
Everyone had a go. Loads of teams kept having a go. And eventually, it wasn't even Pellegrini. That season, I don't even say it was City. It was just, it got to a point where Yaya Toure just said, if none of you lot want it, we'll just have it. And Yaya...
Is that the slip? That's the Gerrard slip week season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Liverpool were there, and I think it was
Arsenal were there at one point.
Arsenal and Chelsea jumped on. Then City came from behind and said, "You guys don't want it. Everybody's slipping.
No one wants it. Cool. Yeah, was like, we'll have it. No problem."
This is why it's crazy. But do you know what? Talking on Arsenal, right? Because we've got to give them their flowers as well. The way they're beating teams is great. But another thing that they showed again on the weekend, which Man City also showed. Obviously, Man City beat Liverpool. I get it without Haaland. But yes, okay, it was Leeds. But Saka didn't play. They still won convincingly. And Saka's been their main man this season.
And Saliba
Saliba didn't play. So you had Holden coming in. You had Trossard playing on the right-hand side. People said it didn't really work, but they still won. So the fact that Saka didn't play...
assists since he's been at Arsenal, mad as well.
Yeah, 7 assists. It's
and
consistent.
the thing I've been saying on, like, so one of the narratives I heard about why apparently some Arsenal fans were worried about the Palace game was because Holden was going to be playing potentially, right? And before the game, I said, do you know what, right? You're basing everything on Holden of last season and the season before and the season before that. That's your opinion on Holding is based on previous seasons, right? But if you're going to go with that, then you have to have the same energy for a lot of your players. Like Xhaka, you're going to have to say, well, Xhaka's been shit, right? If you're worried if Xhaka's in your team, you're not going to be worried because in this system, Xhaka works. So against Palace at home and Leeds at home, what a perfect 2 games to give Holding a chance to show, oh, in this system, I can thrive. I'm good in this system. It's just before we weren't the same team. And I think that's perfect because if Saliba doesn't come back, they are going to need. And this is what happens this time of the season, especially with us. It will happen with us, by the way. We saw it last season against Atletico in the quarters. I think we lost Stones and maybe Walker, right? That you will lose key players. City will lose key players to injuries. We've seen it with Foden. We don't know how long Haaland's going to be out for. I don't think it'll be long. But there will be other City players that get injured. And then you do... Look, we might end up having to throw in Gomez and hope that Gomez works, right? But that is what a 38-game season is about. So,
what do you know what? It's so interesting, Mo, as well, because if you look at it with Saliba, it's not been like confirmed that he's back definitely this weekend. If he's not back and they go to Anfield and the atmosphere is rocking at 4:30, holding Saliba in a big game like that, that's where I would feel nervous for Arsenal. 100%. Yeah, that's what I mean. Imagine Holding and Gabriel. I think Nunes can cause them problems.
It's a system. So for me,
I'm glad Nunes wasn't on from the start against
the biggest thing about Arsenal this year is the biggest thing about Man City over the years under Pep. It's as simple as it's a system. It doesn't matter who's on the pitch. We try to play the same. We don't change for personnel. The personnel change the way they play to suit the system. And some don't work, some don't work. It looks like the people that are in Arsenal, they work with that system. Rob Holding is playing exactly like how Saliba is playing. Tomiyasu is slotted in like how Ben White wants to play. Jorginho even plays the way that he wants to play. Trossard played a little bit like Saka. Maybe it didn't work because Saka is the superstar of the team. And it doesn't matter if Jesus is there or not. They still win games, convincingly making teams look average, like Fulham. And you played Fulham a couple of weeks ago, and they gave you the hardest game probably this season.
Polina, though, is the man for them. He weren't there for them.
Yeah, but it's not one player, though. They made them look so average.
No. But Mo, I agree with you. But when it's Maddison for Leicester and Polina for Fulham, when you haven't got the... No, but hear me. And I'm not downplaying Arsenal, by the way, because people think I'm coming off. No, Arsenal have been brilliant and they've been dismantling teams, like I said. However, when you haven't got the quality like Arsenal and Man City, Man United, when one player is kind of out to try and make up that difference, when it's Polina and Maddison for Leicester, that one player is huge for them. So they done the job. We could have played them. City could have played them. It's not Arsenal's fault, but they just done their thing. But at the end of the day, like I said to you, Arsenal are dismantling the opposition that they need to. But I'm just saying I agree with you in terms of it's a system. But if you're an Arsenal fan and the pressure that you're on to keep winning games because you've got a Premier League to win, and you do go to Anfield and it's Holding starting, I know there's a system there, but it's a game where you are going to be raising your eyebrow and be thinking, oh, can we have a chance? What did Daps say earlier? Daps said, when they saw that Haaland went in that starting 11, there were some Liverpool fans getting a little bit giddy. Not because they thought, this is our team and blah, blah. It's just because Haaland weren't there. So Liverpool will be thinking the same if Saliba's not there and it's Holding. And that's nothing on Holding. I'm just saying that little psychological things will give Liverpool hope. And that's what we want to see as neutrals. We want to see Liverpool get a result.
You want to see Liverpool get a result? Why?
Of course I do.
Because you don't want Arsenal to win the league.
Yeah, I hate Liverpool more than any other team, but I don't want Arsenal to win the league.
Oh, so you don't want Arsenal to win the league. You want Man City to win the league. Oh,
but did you get what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's going to make a massive difference, but psychologically, if you see Saliba back compared to Holding, you're telling me that you're not.
Of course, it's a difference.
And that's what I'm saying.
When you see Kyle Walker versus Rico Lewis versus anybody as a right back, Kyle Walker gives you a little bit more confidence. All with the super chat, of course. Olu is saying Trossard prior to joining only registered 8 assists.
He got 7 already.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
it's
Do you know-
but
can I
he
just say
plays in
to
a better
Arsenal
team.
fans,
To be honest, it's a better team.
I think Trossard's been. I would have took him at City. I think he's doing proper at Arsenal. He's been one of the best January transfers I think anyone. It's just given him that boost. But all that, I'm just having a quick look through the chat, and Arsenal fans, I know you're confident, but you're coming out with the same shit again. We're going to come to the Etihad. Look, you said you were going to come to the Etihad. You didn't. You then said when we come back to your gaff, you didn't, right? And now you're going back to you're going to come to the Etihad again. There's a cycle here, man. Just look at the last, and I'm being a dinosaur because I'm talking about last season, and the season before, and the season before that, and the season before that, and the season before that. Your record against us is absolutely shite. This was the season that you were going to change it. You've played us twice and you still haven't, right? So you not focus on the other games. Don't even think about 3 points. You might as well, when you talk on the City and Arsenal title race and how it's 5 points, you're not. You're 2 points ahead of us, right? Because those 3 points at the Etihad, cancel them out, right? They're not happy.
Have you seen when you're playing Arsenal?
I couldn't care.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
Oh, it's a Wednesday night, isn't it?
It's a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you don't think Arsenal have any chance?
What, the Etihad? No, none.
Not a chance.
Wow, okay.
None.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Cancel those points out.
Can I just ask what makes you so confident? Because now they've got Jesus back. Just wondering.
Because look, because they've got Jesus.
No. But he's important for the team. I'm just asking a question. I'm not disagreeing with you.
The reason why I say it is because for me, mentality is so important, right? And I said it, and I got downplayed for saying it before they came to the Etihad. I said, right, in the cup, I said, we've got 7 days afterwards. You've got 8 days afterwards. Neither of us needs to rest anyone. Oh, but we probably will because it's a cup. There's no need to. More importantly, because at that point, City were a fucking wounded dog, right? And Arsenal and Arteta should have fucking put that wounded dog to the sword just to mentally know we've come to the Etihad and we've beat you. So now you have to come back to the Emirates, right? And they didn't. But then it got, we rotated players. Now go, by the way, if you go and look at the City team that played that day compared to the City team that is now playing, you'll now understand what I was saying about that is not City's best 11, right? Because the City team that you saw then was Pep testing who's got the balls, right? There was a lot of arguments going on. Players got dropped because their form was shit. It's not the same team now. We then came to the Emirates and did it. I just think mentally, Arsenal will be coming to the Etihad knowing that, bro, they're going to be getting off the coach already beat. It's going to be like going to Old Trafford.
Wow, man, this is talk. This is talk.
Bro,
I respect it. No, I respect it because I know these Arsenal fans are going to be ready. Like they're watching this.
Bro, they all hate me anyway. I couldn't give a shit.
No. But I like that you're speaking what you actually believe, which is the overconfidence, because that's what it is right now on paper.
In that game.
Win. Yeah,
in that game.
Mo, you agree? You agree as a neutral? Do you agree with Daps here that you think like it's a gimme in terms of they can't come to the Etihad and win?
Anything can happen in football, but if I'm going to put my money, I'm definitely putting my money on Man City winning the game. I'll be an idiot to sit here and think, they're going to go to the Etihad and play City off the park. Right. Come on, just give me a break.
You know what? Everyone says things, right? When you come up with your opinions, you come up with based on a lot of different things, right? One of the things, of course, is current form and your form this season. And that's why Arsenal fans should have every bit of confidence, because they have been very good. And they will say, and City haven't been the same. You're right. Although we have now clicked into gear, you're right. But the fact is, if you've done it 4 out of 5 years, you've had to overcome all sorts of shit, that is also going to contribute to your views, right? And you said, I think Liverpool, coming back from the international break, where we'd started to get a run together, coming back, and look, when Arsenal came back from the World Cup and Jesus wasn't playing, that was fucking a big statement, that they came back without Jesus and hit the ground running and kept going. City just done the same. We came back from an international break, no Haaland, no Foden, against Liverpool. The pressure was bad in that game. And City said, pressure. Yeah, this is what we do. This
No,
pressure
I
is what
like
we
it because
do.
I know you. That's me and you're very pessimistic, like in our things. So
Oh,
for
I'm
you,
not pessimistic,
if people
bro.
don't know, obviously people watch this. I know that's properly. Yeah, for him to come out and talk confident like this, I know he means it because he wouldn't normally do this, and that's why I'm saying it. That's I'm
Look,
like,
I won't
oh,
sit here and say Brighton away is a guaranteed 3 points.
yeah. See, you wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. But you're saying
No,
Arsenal home. You're like,
I
done.
won't
As soon
say
as they get off the bus.
Southampton this weekend, 5:30 kickoff. Yeah, I know it's not the Southampton. Like we played Southampton earlier in the season, they beat us 2-0. Calvin Phillips and Gomez were playing. It's not going to be the same team, right? But Southampton 5:30 kickoff. I'm not going to tell you that's a guarantee.
See, that's why I'm questioning. And that's why I asked the question, Mo, because the fact that you said about the team top of the league, he's like they're beaten before they come off the bus. But then see Southampton 5:30, it's like, oh, I don't know. That's why I'm like, raw. It's interesting. Nah, fair.
You're sitting in pressure. This is what
Yeah.
we need pressure. And I look at like how much pressure there is. The more pressure, the better for us. And then also it's the fact of that Arsenal had a chance to get that mental, over. Right. They not only to damage our mentality against them, but also to prove to themselves. They've had 2 chances to prove to themselves that, because I always say Arsenal have overcome every hurdle this season that's been put in front of them, except for us twice, right? And it's their biggest hurdle because they've lost something like 15 of the last 16 games against us. Yeah, that's a big hurdle, and they haven't overcome it this season. So, look, if we beat them, that doesn't mean we win the league. But I'm saying it's not 5 points; it's 2 points.
Yeah, fair. Now, big. Make sure you smash the like, people. I know you guys were loving that little segment there, so make sure you please get us to 100 likes. Run it up for me, Mo.
The Arsenal fans are going to fucking smash the likes now.
I'm just looking for a chat that Daniel sent to show it on the screen. Daniel, I saw it. He says John Stones would start in Liverpool's midfield. Maybe.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, there was a debate about the other day. Scott McTominay.
No. So the last thing I'm going to say about Arsenal, to be honest, is that I see Arsenal now as a team that has a system that can beat anyone. And it doesn't matter who they are, they can beat them. And it didn't matter. Like City, I see City beating everybody in the league. I think these 2 teams this year proved that there are levels to this league. And if you want to win the league, you got to be on top of your game for 38 games. And I think this is exactly what Arsenal proved, because Arsenal are on course for 95 points. City are on course for 93 points or 92 points now. So it's not bad at all that what we're seeing now. I don't like 2 teams rivalry, but I hope that next year we'll have more, which is a good segue to the team that I think will challenge next season if they get 3rd, which is Newcastle.
Challenge for the title?
No, they will be not challenged, win it, but they will be there and thereabout. I think.
No, okay, so no, Mo, be
points.
careful with your English language then. So challenge for us here means competing for the title. If you mean, no, that means top 4. They'll be the top 4 race again. It's either one or the other. Top 4 race, so you're challenging for the title.
let me think about it. I think the problem is, I think that Man City next year will get to 100 points. I think Man City will be stronger next year. They will be stronger than everybody else. I'm really convinced that Pep Guardiola will have the perfect system next year with Haaland and Alvarez, and he will strengthen even more. So I don't see anybody challenging City next year. But anyway, let's go to Newcastle and Man United. Erik ten Hag, questions need to be asked again. Yes, I said it before, brilliant coach, and he does this, but every time I talk about it, people say, but he's only good with Casemiro in and with his players on. And yesterday, he literally played Bruno Fernandes as the deepest guy in the midfield. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you thinking putting McTominay as a number 10 next to Vigors? He was not. McTominay disappeared for 20 minutes, showed up with that run, that run from the right side, and then disappeared again. And then appeared for a block and then disappeared. When I mean disappear, I mean is not even involved defensively or
100%
offensively.
agree with you. He's the biggest vanishing footballer I've ever seen in my life.
Look, I have never seen someone that disappears from a professional game like this.
Regularly.
Completely gone. I didn't even notice that he was, I think, subbed out, was he? I
Yep.
didn't notice.
Yeah, he
And
took him on
Newcastle,
Varane.
to be honest, Ty, yesterday, they were brilliant. It's not because you were bad. They were direct, brilliant, kept switching between Trippier on the right side, and what's the other guy's name?
Dunburn.
Murphy
Oh,
on the
Murphy.
right,
Oh, on that side.
and
Sorry.
Dan
Yeah.
Burn and
Sam Maximin.
Sam Maximin. And it wasn't one side. It was both sides trying to attack. And again, poor players from Man United. I don't know who you saw. I saw yesterday. Rashford, did he play? Did he get off the bus
Rashford
yesterday?
you know what? I'm not even going to try and single out individuals. The whole team was shocking yesterday. It was crap. I'm going to be honest, it was crap. And you know what? I could tell, you know, when you watch a team, right, and you watch your own team and you're like, from 5 minutes in, I knew what was happening. By the 70th minute, I wasn't even annoyed because I felt like this was coming from the first 5 minutes. And I even just said with Sarfo and Trafford Tunnel, that's a bad place to be in. When you can watch your team and within 5 minutes know what you feel like is going to happen, is not a nice position to be in. And it's happened a few times this season. We've played Brentford away. We've been beaten like that. Newcastle away, we've been beaten now. Liverpool, we've been beaten by City. There's another game that I can think of, an away game where we got dismantled. Like, the away form is not great, but this Manchester United team, this just shows the flaws that we have. And I'll be honest with you, it's completely unacceptable for the manager to get conned, which I'm so surprised. Ten Hag got conned by McTominay's international form. He played him as a number 10. That's a shocking decision. And then you look at the way we actually, handled the ball. We try going man for man. Yep, you've got Longstaff, you've got Bruno Guimaraes, you've got Willock, all these athletes, dynamic runners. Bruno, Sabitzer, and McTominay had no clue what to do. They were overpowered and outworked. And you know what put the icing in the cake for me as well? And I know we're going to get into it a bit more. I've seen Luke Shaw do plenty of interviews, right? He's getting a new contract, and Luke Shaw's done plenty of interviews over the year. And this felt like an Ollie type-esque interview. He was like, we weren't motivated. They outfought us. They were more determined. Now, for me, I play basic football. Yeah, Mo, you still play basic football as well. We're not pros, but what do you do when you go out on that football pitch when you play for your team? Whether it's individual sport or team sport, you have the desire to what? It's win. The first thing you want to do when you play sport is win, right? And if Manchester United players are saying that they're not motivated enough or they wanted it more than us, we weren't really, up for the game, that's massive warning signs. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to keep it real with you lot. We got beat by Newcastle yesterday, but that performance from us has been coming. We got lucky against Fulham in the FA Cup. We've had a couple of games since the Liverpool 7-0 where we scraped through. We've not been good. When it got to the international break, I was like, do you know what? Damn, we need this. We played 3 games every week, and I'm not saying that's an excuse, but we just needed the break. We had no excuses on Sunday. We were re-energized. We had 2 weeks off. Some went international break, some didn't, and we had a stinking performance. So for me, I'll keep it 100. This loss, this defeat has been coming. Manchester United have not been good enough in the last month. And do you know what? I'm hoping that the players bounce back from this in the next coming games because they need to. And we got key players coming back, but it's not good enough. It weren't good enough yesterday.
Guys, please in the chat, do not block somebody if they say that one of us is talking rubbish. It's all right. It's everybody's right to say that maybe they disagree with us. But if they are respectful, keep them in the chat.
Yeah, unless someone's saying something about someone's family or something like that. Yeah, something. Or the only other thing I would say is, right, because although I am sensitive, by the way. When people say, why am I sensitive? I am a sensitive person. I've got a shit temper as well. But it really isn't that deep what people are saying because they're keyboard warriors. So let them type away.
Yeah.
But the only thing I would say is, don't make people in the chat feel uncomfortable as well. That's the thing. Like, more importantly, make me feel uncomfortable. No problem.
Yeah, we're here facing it. We expect it.
Yeah, but don't make people in the chat feel uncomfortable. But yeah, don't block people if they're just talking football. Even if the use of plastics is fine. It's, other materials are available, but let them use whatever words they want.
Also, guys, is going to give you the mods. Give second chances.
Hold on, Jack's on about his 150th, and I don't know. There's about 40 Jacks in here, I think. To be fair,
so if they say something you think is disrespectful, tell them, and if they do it again, block them. But don't just block them the first time, please. We'll go back to Man United.
But yeah, Mo, this performance has been coming, bro.
Rubbish. And Milan. Okay, so I was talking to Mahmoud before the show in Arabic.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mahmoud is not the biggest fan of Erik ten Hag. He thinks that you guys are making a big deal out of him. And me, he's like, Mo, you're a part of this because you keep praising the guy. And I'm like,
Yeah, you're a
yes,
big fan of Ten Hag. You
I'm
are.
a big fan of his because of his football and he's great. But yesterday and for some games like the Fulham game, where has it gone? But Mahmoud keeps telling me, and other than Mahmoud, other people, when I talk to my friends here, the football guys, when I play football with, they say he only doing this with his players. And my defense was, but you only do it with your players. Pep Guardiola had to assemble a team. Mikel Arteta had to assemble a team to do it. But if it's one player, that means you really didn't create a system. If it's only Casemiro not being there, you didn't create a system then. What are you going to do when Casemiro gets injured? He's suspended now. What if he gets injured? He's 30 years old, bro. He's not 25. He will have to drop at some point.
Yeah.
So, but yesterday, tactically, how can Eddie Howe out-tactic Eric Ten Hag? The obvious, yes, St. James Park, forget the crowd.
Did he out-tactic him, or did the players just not want it? Because we went 4-3-3. We actually went man for man. We matched them with a 4-3-3. So we went with the same tactics, but the personnel and the
maybe
drive
that's wrong,
and the desire, they wanted it more.
Maybe that's wrong. Maybe going man to man is wrong. Let me tell you what.
I agree with that. Maybe you're right.
Maybe that tactically was wrong. Maybe that left some people exposed. Like you remember Luke Shaw against Saka when Saka used to drive him all the way inside the 18. Why there was no coverage? Yesterday, Dalot was absolutely brilliant until the goal. He couldn't do more. He was facing one of the most talented players in the league, one-on-one for 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's
you can't get
much,
it right every time. Yeah.
You know it. You play for this too much. San Maximan is not easy, and you leaving him man to man with San Maximan for 60 minutes. Let me tell you something. One of the players that was brilliant yesterday, and people don't notice this, I notice these small things, is freaking Martinez again. Because Rashford doesn't defend at all, he had to cover Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy is the right winger, and he had to cover Jacob Murphy because Kieran Trippier was overloading the side, the right side with Jacob Murphy. And Luke Shaw had to face Kieran Trippier. So Martinez and his anticipation is brilliant. And I'm going to keep praising him, even though I doubted him in the beginning of the season. He was brilliant yesterday. On the other side, Varane was scared, which was strange. He wasn't covering Dalot enough, right? When Dan Burn was going up, it was Sabitzer going to cover that side or McTominay. Why is Varane not doing this? He was covering Isaac. No, the midfield was trying to do some job. I think Erik ten Hag got the marking wrong, because how many times we saw midfielders of Newcastle inside the 18 and there is no coverage from your midfield? Why is that? And this Anthony guy,
he was quite good yesterday.
I think this is what you think. I think he was quite good in dribbling, but I expect him to make the right decisions. So he was quite good until the final third. Do you remember the cross that he crossed to nobody about 2-3 times?
And then he shot wide.
Wide. My problem with Anthony is that because you're a Man United, you want that flair, and he has it. But for me, if you don't get an end product after you do all this work, okay, you get the cross wrong, okay, everything is gone. Because yesterday, I remember 3 times where he crossed to nobody, bro, and he was wide open.
I understand that. And my comeback to you is that Anthony has not been great this season. I think you'll see a lot of people have to adapt in their first season. However, I do think it's funny. You might disagree. We can talk about Anthony, but at least he was getting in the positions to try and cross it. At least he was retaining the ball and getting the ball and trying to impose himself on the game. I'm a big fan of Marcus Rashford. I love what Marcus Rashford has done for us this season. I love the way he's turned around his form. I love what he's doing under Ten Hag. However, yesterday, for me, was an epitome of what Rashford's deficiencies are. So when a game gets tight like this, when a game gets gritty, when there's not a lot of space in behind, you have to think. You have to try and do things different. You have to retain the ball. You have to be quite good at passing. You have to try and create. Now, Rashford is not really a creator. He's not a type of midfielder or winger, should I say. It's going to come inside and link up play and do 1-2s and look like an actual winger, which St. Maximum and Anthony and Murphy and people are. For me, Anthony was actually better than what Rashford was yesterday because the game and the way it was played. It was gritty. It was tight. It was compact. Rashford, for me, was very poor because other than when he's running in behind or, he's isolating a defender 1v1, he doesn't really impact the game enough. And that's why you need maybe someone like Martial or other players in there to try and get the best out of him. But unfortunately for me, Rashford, the game passed him by yesterday. And, you know, we didn't really get the ball to him in great positions, and we didn't get the ball to Weghorst at all. Weghorst had less touches than Pope. That says it all about Weghorst. He's done at this club. Forget him.
It's
Forget
not that
him.
he's done. You're asking
No, he's
too
not
much
good
of
enough.
the guy.
Mo, he's a
You're not
championship
asking
striker.
too much of the guy.
He's a championship striker. It's done.
Yeah, you can put him in the 18 to cross the ball like
He doesn't
for him
even
at
win
the end of
headers,
the
Mo.
game.
He doesn't even win headers, and he's 6'6",
which is very strange.
But that's the thing for me. Anthony was actually better than Rashford because the type of game it was, and this is where Rashford will have to see how he adapts his game over the years, because obviously he's good at running in behind. He's an outlet, but when games get gritty, when games are not they're not stretched, you have to see variation to your game, and Rashford didn't really have that.
Did you see the difference between the way I talked, because you're a Man United fan, the way I talked about the game and the way you talked? I said my first thought is that I'm not going to single out players. I said, yes, Rashford was non-existent, McTominay was non-existent, but that's not down to them. It was down to the tactics, and it was down to the position that they were put on the pitch. And I think that game yesterday, my advice to you is do not get what is it called? Like, do not judge the players on yesterday's game.
No, I'm not. But
judge
Anthony,
the way you play
Anthony
football.
Better than Rashford.
Judge Ten Hag in this game. Judge Ten Hag without Casemiro. That's, I think, to look at this game yesterday. It's not about Rashford. It's not about Martinez. It's not about De Gea. It's about how Ten Hag set up without Casemiro. Why is Bruno Fernandes deep? It's not up to Bruno, by the way. It's Eric Ten Hag who told him to do this.
Well, Mo, what other game does this bring a bell to you when it comes to mind? Liverpool away. Ten Hag's done the same thing. He put Bruno out on the right, tried dropping Weghorst in the 10, and we got absolutely pummeled. Again, another big game yesterday. Ten Hag overfought, and he will learn from this, but he definitely overfought.
But he's not learning, Ty. You just said it. It's 2-3 times this year.
Do you know what I heard? Do you know what I heard yesterday that confused me? Someone said, we really missed Eriksen yesterday, right? And I thought, you're clutching there, because how long's Eriksen been injured for?
About 2 months.
Right, so while it just looked like it was a bit of a clutch, like to say we really miss Eriksen there. Like he's been out for 2 months. Like why all of a sudden that particular game was just?
It's because do you know what it is? It's because he actually is the only technical secure player in that midfield.
Right,
that
cool.
none of the others keep the ball.
The reason why I say is because in the last 2 months, the last 3-4 weeks, United haven't been as good. But the month
now people are calling for Eriksen. You mean like that?
He was out, and you lot were fucking insane. You were amazing, right? Now all of a sudden it's like
title challenge, Daps. You remember title challenge?
Yeah. No, I get it, and I understand that. I just think it's some fans who don't believe that you need sometimes that technical security. Whereas when you actually take away someone like him who does retain the ball well and plays well with Casemiro, it's the basic things sometimes you miss. I don't think it's like, oh my god, Eriksen's amazing, but Sabitzer, McTominay, Fred, they can't just do the basics. It's just the basics. When Rodri gets the ball, it's like when Rodri gets the ball or Gundogan or someone, you just know they're going to keep it or pick the right pass. I watched Sabitzer, McTominay, Bruno and Fred, and I just think this is pinball. Like no one is calm. So I think it's just when you're losing, it's easy to notice the basics that are not happening. So
one player. I've said this. Said this about Arsenal actually. Yeah, that. In Europe, in particular, where Arsenal have rotated out, and people have been critical of it, and it's like, no, you don't understand that one or two players, like say for example, Arsenal can play an almost full strength team in Europe, in the Europa League, not almost, but maybe only make 3 changes, But if those 3 changes,
on the garden party, you're like, fuck.
Bro, different. And the same with City. You take Rodri out of City and put Calvin Phillips in there, fuck me.
Yeah, exactly. Do you see what I mean? So that's what it is. And because we haven't got
I think that's
the quality
Casemiro
to replace
thing
it.
with you lot this season. Casemiro is massive.
And that's where I want to be at. And that's where I can hold it down and say as a Man United fan, I don't want to be in that position where I'm going into games next season. And because Casemiro's out, I'm like, oh, we might just lose now. We need to be able to find ways to get a replacement in, not a replacement, but a good squad depth in that we can still win games without 1 or 2 players missing. But let's be real. You guys watch Man United as well. You guys know that the results, we've won. We've not played great. This has been coming, but it's how we bounce back off that. We've got Eriksen back in 2 weeks. Martial's potentially back now and hopefully starts in midweek. I'm trying to think. Casemiro's got 2 more games out. we will see a better Man United, but it doesn't. I don't want to be sitting there saying, "Oh, I've got to wait 2 weeks till Eriksen and Casemiro are back." I want us to win games now. 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, we was in a small talk for title. Now we're pulled right back in. Spurs go above us in 3 hours if they win.
So are you scared of not making top four? So how do you see the season if you don't make top four? Is Ten Hag out then? No.
Ten Hag out. Don't be silly. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know who I'm talking about.
You spend 200 million in the summer. Listen. You spend 200 million in the summer. If you don't make top four, it's a failure. You just put
it's
it.
Not. You know what, Mo? I've got to be realistic. I didn't think we'd make top four at the start of this season. I said top six, get a cup and better football. No,
even after Casemiro, even after Casemiro and Anthony.
Yeah, even after Casemiro, I didn't say we'd make top four. No, I didn't. But the fact that, but here I am, and I'm gonna be realistic. Where we are right now, would I be very disappointed if we didn't make top four? My answer is yes. At the start of the season, I can say what I said. Arsenal fans didn't think they'd win the league at the start of the season. If you ask them now, would they be disappointed? The answer is hell yes. So if we don't make top four, I am very disappointed. And I've looked at the run-in of Newcastle. I've looked at the run-in of Tottenham. And I think 1 or 2 games, we have a better run-in. I think we do have a slightly better run-in. Whether Europa League clashes with it, I don't know. But we need to make Champions League. Like, I'll be very disappointed.
One way or the other. So winning Europa
League.
No,
the bottom line is, even though we lost to Newcastle, let's look at this game in isolation. We lost to Newcastle and we deserved it. We got beaten. All teams have that sort of moment. But are we better than Spurs? The answer is yes. Come on, you watch us. We're better than Spurs. Are we better than Newcastle? I say overall, as a team, we are as players, but as a team, they're playing better collectively. But they've had their dips as well. But Alexander Isaac's playing very well at the moment. Mm-hmm. But for me, like, exactly, if I'm looking at it like that, Man United should be making top four, man.
You should. Okay, but that's what I'm saying. You're better than Liverpool.
But am I worried? I tell you what, can I ask you a question, though, in short, before I let Daps even come and see what he says about top four? Am I worried about not making top four? The answer is no, because I think we've got a better run than we do it. Am I worried about the game on Wednesday against Brentford? The answer is yeah.
Brilliant, because that game is going to be absolutely phenomenal game to be honest.
They're a very good team, mate. And no Casemiro, physical. Ivan Toney getting a draw against Brighton. They're beating City away. They've gone to Arsenal and got a draw. They sent a team that are coming here just to lie down. So I'm worried about Wednesday, but I'm not worried about getting top.
Who you got on Wednesday?
Brentford.
At Old Trafford.
Yeah, but that doesn't even matter the way they play. The
way they play, it doesn't really matter. The way they play, it's gonna.
Yeah.
That Brighton game was great, wasn't it?
Fucking exactly. 3-3. Like,
you know what? That was actually exactly what I expected.
Like, what? You actually thought Brentford would get a result?
They have earned they've earned it this season. They're two great teams come up against each other, and like just. Neither of them wanted to lose. Neither of them wanted to lose at all. It's just great to watch.
If you're Brentford, Mo, are you scared going into Wednesday? You wouldn't be, would you? You'd be saying, let's take.
They're playing for nothing.
Yeah,
but they're playing for nothing. They are literally just taking it a game by a game,
and that's dangerous because I don't like playing teams sometimes when you're playing for nothing because the pressure's on us. They can go and enjoy it.
You know, let me tell you something that I think in this league now. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday, The Guardian, and the guy, Nedum Unowa, said, this is one of the seasons that he doesn't think there is any team that you play is an easy team. Because he said, because it's so compact from 12 to 20, all these teams you're going to play, not like last season where like comfortable mid-table teams, because the mid-table teams now are Chelsea, Liverpool, and it's not easy to play them. You know what I mean? Like, so... The only team is Aston Villa. The only team is Aston Villa where you play, you think they're not playing for anything. But again, it's not easy to play in Emery. So yesterday, Nadim Onuwa was saying, I think a couple of days ago, he said, there is no easy game from now until the end of the season because there is nobody that is comfortable making top four and there is nobody that is comfortable winning the league and nobody that is comfortable staying in the league. Nobody in this league, and it's very hard. Last thing is Chelsea sacked Graham Potter. We talked about it yesterday.
Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to drop off. I need to be.
Bless up, man.
Yeah, bless.
Love.
Big up.
Last thing we're gonna talk about is Chelsea shambolic. I'm gonna keep it short. I don't like their model, and they sacked a coach. They sacked a coach that is gonna get paid even more money. So that put that more. You know, add that to the note. You know what I mean? Sack another one, add that to the note. Okay, tell that to the banks. So Ty, they're gonna get Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, Conte, or
whoever they get. You know what? Whoever they get. No disrespect to Graham Potter, who should go for Leicester job. If I'm honest with you, I think it's a perfect fit. whoever they get is going to be better than Potter, and they're going to be more ready. They're going to be used to big names, big faces, and they've managed at big clubs. You know, Pochettino, PSG, whether it worked or not, he still managed at PSG. Nagelsmann managed at Bayern Munich, won a title. Luis Enrique won a treble at Barcelona. They can handle the egos more. They've got the more inept ability to adapt to big pressure, should I say. I don't think Potter really understood the pressure because he had never been in that pressure before. And that's always a dangerous place to be in. When you've never been in that pressure situation before, how do you deal with it when it gets rough? He didn't really know how to deal with it. Enrique, Nagelsmann, and Poch have been in pressure situations. For me, I think the dangerous situation, Mo, is that, and I was saying this to my boy, who's a Chelsea fan, right? I've got one Chelsea fan that wants Nagelsmann, and I've got another that I was chatting close to, and he wants Poch, which is interesting. Now, I said to him, the dangerous thing for Chelsea, Mo, is that when there's so many managers available, it kind of can play tricks on the brain because then you're sort of putting pros and cons on each manager. Now, it was just Julian Nagelsmann available, and Enrique's in the Spain job, and Pochettino is at somewhere, say Juventus, for example. You're just like, right, they're going to get Nagelsmann. But the fact that all three are available, one could go right, one could go wrong, and one could be middle ground. But they're all very good managers. Now, Chelsea need to get this appointment right because I feel like this appointment has to be the one where you're going to say, right, is this going to be the long-term manager? Potter was meant to be that. But now you've triggered the sacking. It's like, well, is every manager that's going to be under pressure now going to get that treatment, like the Abramovich treatment, because they've already sacked one now within 3 months. So I think the dangerous part for me is who do they go with? Because there's 3 very good managers there, but you have to get it right. And sometimes, Mo, I think that can actually play tricks in your mind. So I wouldn't want to be the Chelsea owner right now. I would not want to be the Chelsea owner right now.
Do you
But
know
I
my
feel like
opinion?
you've got someone.
Do you know my opinion? Chelsea, and I was saying this before, Chelsea, get rid of this. Oh, I want to have a style. You are successful over the past 20 years by being the ups and downs, hire the Mourinho, hire the Ancelotti, hire the Contes, win now, and let's forget about it, hire Tuchel. You know what I mean? So for me, to be honest with you, Ty, I think they should go for someone with the likes of Antonio Conte now. I know it's a mad shout. I know if Luis Enrique, because I think the only one that guarantees you success is Luis Enrique. Antonio Conte, when he goes to Chelsea, he won before there. You know, when he went to Juventus and he went to Inter, he won before. You go to Nagelsmann, you're talking about a project. You're talking about someone who's going to be good for 2-3 years. Pochettino, the same. But I think Chelsea, for me, they were never that club. They were never about a project.
You think Antonio Conte is the player to work with these current crop of youth players sort of now?
No, forget youth players. Antonio Conte.
But they're not going to spend money, Mo, getting a whole load of experience.
Yeah, but Antonio Conte will work with the likes of Sterling, will work with the likes of Kovacic and Kante, because they're a new Kante, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, Shalaba, Badishile, Chilwell, Kukurea, Reece James. He will work with these athletics. He did it before. He has this. But what I mean is that I know that people would look at Antonio Conte at Spurs, but would you look at Mourinho at Spurs? Would you look at like other coaches at Spurs? No, Spurs are not a team to judge coaches on. Judge him on the Inter job, on the final of the Europa League, winning the league, breaking Juventus cycle. Judge him on the Chelsea, taking them from 10th, making them win the league right away. And it was Pep Guardiola's first season. Judge him on the Juventus job. Judge him on his job with Italy. He's a madman, but he's a madman now. So get him now. Get the winning man, because I think these players tie. One of the things that I say about clubs is that winning is a mentality. Winning is a mentality. You put the winning mentality in the club overall, the kit man, the guy that does the pitch, the players, the coaching staff, the owners, and you go from there. To be honest, Antonio Conte is someone, he said it. He said there is only one winner and 19 losers in the league. He said, if you're second, you are the best loser out there. This is a mentality that Chelsea wants. These players are chill now. They're chill. Do you want someone? Nagelsmann might be the guy.
You don't think Enrique or Nagelsmann?
No. Enrique would be my first choice because of the style of football. But Nagelsmann, for me, is a project. You know, you're gonna.
It's another. Would you say it's like basically an upgrade on Potter, but it's a similar Potter situation?
It's a project. Yeah, he's not guaranteed winning you the league. He's not guaranteed anything. I know that Chelsea want to win the Champions League, but I promise you, you gotta have the winning mentality in the league first. I think that's what it is.
I think Luis Enrique would probably be the first pick as well.
For me, yes.
He's the best of both. He can work with you if he's a coach, but he also is one with big players, and he's
Thank you.
proven. Yeah.
Thank you. He coached Neymar, Messi, Suarez. He made them this brilliant team. So for me, Luis Enrique would be my first. Going for Nagelsmann is a gamble, Ty. It's a project. It's a gamble. He coached a couple of years at Leipzig, Bayern Munich, and we know a lot of people coach in Bayern, and anybody, you would coach a Bayern and win the league with them. It's Bayern Munich. Yes, in the Champions League, 6 games is great. But for me, I'm sorry, I would go for Luis Enrique, and I would go, Todd Bowley wants to build that style. Forget the style. Be Chelsea.
Be Chelsea. Make Stamford Bridge again.
Now, win it now. Win it now. Get somebody that will fire up the press, the fans. This is what he does, Antonio Conte. You know what I mean? Like, he gets on everybody. Get somebody that will get you now.
And you think available right now, Enrique is the closest thing that can do that. I agree. I think Enrique is number one.
Also, Lukaku, fantastic thing. God of forks. Conte knows how to use Lukaku. That's 105 million.
That's from a Chelsea fan as well. I think that's a Chelsea
fan.
Yeah,
Chelsea fan. That's 105 million pound already spent. You have the players for this guy to work. Get him now. 1-year contract or 2-year contract. Tell him, fix the club. Here is all these £1 million players, 100 million pound players. Imagine the Enzo Fernandez, Kanté, Kovacic under Antonio Conte. Come on, just give me a break. A dynamic midfield.
Wow. Okay. Because I'm going to go Luis Enrique. So if I gave you a 50p coin now, heads or tails, and Conte was heads and Enrique was tails, what are you picking?
No, I'm picking Enrique, to be honest.
Cool.
I'm picking Enrique because Enrique is Conte with style. He's fired up. He would call you out. He would call players out, Luis Enrique. I like Enrique. I love him. And I think Luis Enrique is absolutely fantastic coach, fantastic, direct as well. He's the only one I think that can challenge Pep. He's one of the people that can challenge Pep. So that's my opinion about Chelsea. It's a match out, Antonio Conte.
Yeah, no, it is. It's so interesting. I didn't expect it. And obviously, I know you love Conte as well, so you've watched him much more. I'll say you've watched him more in depth than me. My last question, because I know we've got to wrap up, guys. Make sure you keep flashing the like, people, and subscribe. When do you think Chelsea appoint? Do they wait till the end of the season, or do they do it before?
No, they wait until the end of the season.
Okay.
There is nothing to play. I know the Champions League and all this stuff. I don't know. You get a caretaker. You get John Terry. You get somebody just to fire the players because nobody can come.
Okay. Let me rephrase. Do they announce that they're getting someone, and say, "Oh, this person's joining at the end of the season"?
No announcing now. You know why? Nothing. Because the players will think about the coach. You know what? Do you think any coach will come now and implement his style?
No. Give him preseason. Give him no headache. Yep, I agree.
So and don't give him, like, if a coach comes now and gets smashed by Real Madrid, you're already destroying his legacy before he starts.
Yeah.
Anyway, but thank you everybody that watched us. Thank you so much for being here. We've gone overboard a little bit, but it was a nice discussion. Tomorrow, Rivals Not Virus, of course, at 6 o'clock
before the Chelsea Liverpool game.
Liverpool game. And also, people, I'm doing a watch along for Juventus Inter tomorrow, which is kind of a suicide mission.
Nice.
Suicide mission.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. And also, can I announce, if you speak Arabic on this channel, come support me. We're trying to do something in Arabic called Big Five, Big Khamsa. If you know Khamsa, you know what I'm talking about. Come support me on the channel. It's called Big Khamsa. I do Arabic shows. So thank you, everybody that watched us. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thanks for all the members. Thanks for Ty and Daps. We appreciate you guys. And we're going to get out of here. Hit that like button for me. See you guys.
Take care, guys.